Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., mind buzzing with 1,000 thoughts, or if you constantly feel overwhelmed by decisions, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That relentless internal chatter? That's overthinking, and it's a huge energy drain. It's that invisible force that creates stress, whips up confusion, and often leads to painful delays in getting things done or even starting something new. We've all been there, trust me. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck in that cycle. Today we're going to tackle this head-on. We're diving into 5 powerful game-changing mental clarity techniques that will help you calm that internal storm, quiet the noise, and reclaim your peace of mind. Get ready to shift from chaos to calm, because by the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to start clearing your mental space and embracing a more focused, joyful life. Let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off with our first technique, and it's a classic for a reason. Write it out. Seriously, grab a pen and paper or open a blank document on your computer. When your mind is overflowing with thoughts, worries, ideas, to-do lists, anxieties, it can feel like a tangled mess of spaghetti up there. Putting those thoughts onto paper or typing them out is like giving your brain a much-needed spring clean. It transforms abstract, swirling anxieties into concrete, manageable words. Think of your mind as a busy desk. When it's cluttered, you can't find anything. But when you start pulling out each item, examining it, and deciding where it goes, suddenly everything becomes clear. This isn't about perfectly structured sentences or brilliant prose. It's about externalizing that internal monologue. Just let everything flow out without judgment. Don't worry about grammar or spelling. Don't even worry if it makes sense to anyone else. This is purely for you. You might even find connections or solutions you hadn't noticed before, simply by seeing your thoughts laid out in front of you. This process clears the mental clutter, making space for new, more productive thoughts. It's incredibly therapeutic and surprisingly effective. Give it a try next time you feel overwhelmed, and you'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel. Moving on to technique number 2, and this one is a bit more active. Ask yourself, is this thought useful? This is a powerful filter for your mental chatter. Our brains are constantly generating thoughts, and honestly, not all of them are serving us well. Many are repetitive, hypothetical, or simply unhelpful. When a thought pops into your head, especially one that's causing you stress or worry, pause for a moment and genuinely ask, is this thought useful to me right now? If the answer is yes, if it helps you solve a problem, learn something new, or move towards a goal, then great, engage with it. But if the answer is no, if it's a rehash of an old worry, a judgment about something you can't change, or a catastrophic prediction about the future, then consciously decide to let it go. Imagine a bouncer at the door of your mind. If a thought tries to get in and is not useful, the bouncer politely but firmly says, "Nope, not tonight." This isn't about suppressing thoughts, which can backfire. It's about acknowledging them, assessing their value, and then consciously redirecting your attention. It's about exercising your mental muscle to choose where your focus goes rather than letting every random thought hijack your attention. Over time, you'll get better at quickly identifying and dismissing unhelpful thoughts, freeing up your mental energy for what truly matters. Alright, let's talk about technique number 3. And this one is fantastic for those of us who tend to get stuck in analysis paralysis. Set a time limit for thinking. How many times have you spent hours, or even days, agonizing over a decision that ultimately wasn't that big of a deal? Overthinking loves to create endless loops, making us believe that if we just think a little bit longer, we'll find the perfect answer. But perfection is often the enemy of good, and certainly the enemy of action. This technique is about giving your brain a dedicated window to think, analyze, and deliberate, and then, crucially, making a decision and moving forward. For example, if you're stuck on a minor decision, set a timer for 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, think as deeply as you need to. Consider the pros and cons, explore different options, and visualize outcomes. But once that timer goes off, it's decision time. Even if it's not the absolute perfect decision, commit to it and act. For bigger decisions, you might allocate 30 minutes or even an hour, but the principle remains the same. Define the thinking period and then transition to action. This prevents endless rumination and forces you to trust your judgment. It teaches your brain that while thinking is valuable, action is ultimately what drives progress. You'll be surprised how often your good enough decision turns out to be perfectly fine and how much mental energy you save by not overthinking it indefinitely. Now for technique number 4. A fundamental shift in perspective that can bring immense peace. Focus only on what you can control. This is a big one, because so much of our overthinking is spent worrying about things completely outside of our influence. Think about it. The weather, other people's opinions, past mistakes, future uncertainties. These are all things we often agonize over, yet have zero control to change. This technique asks you to draw a clear line in the sand. On one side are things you can directly influence through your actions, attitudes, or choices. On the other side are things you simply cannot, the stuff you can't control. That's just noise. It's static that clutters your mental airwaves. When you catch yourself worrying about something, ask, can I do anything about this right now? If the answer is yes, then channel your energy into taking that action. If the answer is no, then practice the radical acceptance of letting it go. This doesn't mean you don't care about the world or aren't prepared for challenges. It means you strategically deploy your mental resources to where they can actually make a difference. It's about being proactive and strategic, rather than reactive and anxious. By consciously directing your focus to your sphere of influence, you reclaim your power and prevent your mind from being hijacked by unproductive worries. This simple shift can dramatically reduce stress and increase your sense of agency. And finally, we arrive at technique number 5, a classic for a reason and incredibly powerful. Practice mindful breathing. This isn't just some airy-fairy concept. It's a physiological hack for your nervous system. When we're overthinking, our minds are racing, often leading to shallow, rapid breathing, a sign that our fight or flight response is subtly activated. Mindful breathing is the antidote. It brings you immediately into the present moment, anchoring your awareness away from the swirling thoughts and onto something tangible, the sensation of your breath. You don't need to be a meditation guru to do this. Simply find a quiet moment, close your eyes if you like, and bring your attention to your breath. Notice the air as it enters your nostrils, fills your lungs, and then gently leaves your body. Feel your chest rise and fall. Don't try to change your breath, just observe it. If your mind wanders, and it will, that's perfectly normal, gently guide it back to your breath. Even just a few minutes of this can significantly calm your nervous system, slow down your heart rate, and create a sense of spaciousness in your mind. Your breath is always with you, always accessible, and always a pathway back to calm. It's a powerful tool to interrupt cycles of overthinking and bring immediate peace when you feel overwhelmed. Incorporate short mindful breathing breaks into your day, and you'll notice a profound difference in your overall mental clarity and resilience. So there you have it, 5 incredibly effective techniques to help you quiet the noise and reclaim your mental peace. Remember, overthinking isn't some permanent flaw. It's often just a habit we've developed. But here's the really exciting part. Clarity is also a habit. You have the power to choose which habit you want to cultivate. By consciously applying these techniques, writing it out, asking if a thought is useful, setting thinking time limits, focusing on what you control, and practicing mindful breathing, you are actively choosing peace, focus, and a clearer life. It takes practice, just like any new skill, but every small step makes a difference. Thank you so much for joining me today and investing in your mental well-being. If you found these tips helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for weekly mindset shifts, clarity tips, and strategies to live your most intentional life. Let me know in the comments below which technique you're going to try first, or if you have any other tips for managing overthinking. I love hearing from you all. Until next time, stay clear, stay calm, and keep shining.